Hello, Walking the Ropes fans. I am Blake, and welcome to the next episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review for AEW Rampage from Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. In today's show, I would normally run down the results from Elevation and Dark, but because Rampage was 2 hours this time, I'm going to just move right on to Rampage. But before that, make sure to check out the Walking the Ropes link tree for all things Walking the Ropes. To open the show, we had a singles match between CM Punk and Powerhouse Hobbs. CM Punk is making his TV return to wrestling in over 7 years. He looks like he's ready to take on the big challenge of Hobbs. Hobbs has a huge chance to make a big name for himself tonight against CM Punk. And you know what? Personally, I've been loving everything that CM Punk's been doing. His programs with the young guys, making them look really strong, helping build them up with his promos, everything. He really does seem to want to work with the young guys here. It's not like he's being forced to. I am really excited to see where CM Punk is going to continue on. Like, this is just super awesome to see because Punk has clearly been picking the guys he's wanting to go against because he's working with them amazingly. And this match really shows what both men can do as Punk targets the big man's legs and wears him down. Hobbs would get big bursts of attack, but it would never really... and he would do massive amounts of damage in a small amount of time. He'd even get really cocky, and he would taunt Punk as he's beating on him. And then he looks like he has Punk beat, and he's dragging him around the ring, and he even has Hook helping him out. But Punk, being the experienced vet he is, finds the reserve in the tank and starts to make Hobbs pay for everything. Just when you think Punk has Hobbs beat, he kicks out and then catches the GTS to stop the end of the match, basically. And then Hobbs looks to end it himself, but Punk won't go down. He's bleeding out of his lip, and it looks like it happened during a Hurricanrana off the top rope. At least that's where it appeared to happen to me. But it's like they have absolutely insane back and forth action through this entire match. And then Hobbs starts to show his lack of experience, getting mad, kind of storming around the ring, and he can't get it done. Hook comes up on the apron, and Punk kind of runs at him, but it's almost like he knew Hobbs was going to jump him afterwards, so he got out of the way. Hobbs knocks Hook off of the apron, and he turns around into the GTS, and that's it. CM Punk defeats Powerhouse Hobbs. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. It was a really, really solid match. I loved everything about it. It showed Punk's ability to deal with a bigger guy, and it really showed off just how good Hobbs is and that he is one of the next big stars in pro wrestling. I can't wait to see where both men move on from this, but I can only imagine it'll be really amazing. It's just super cool to see Punk doing these kinds of stories with these young guys. I mean, they're very awesome matches. I mean, I think both of his matches with Darby and with now Powerhouse Hobbs have gone over 15 minutes each. I could be wrong, but it's either way, it's very cool that he's working these young guys, helping them get better. And I mean, it's just awesome to see CM Punk back. Thunder Rosa then talks about Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose and says she's not scared of them and she fights her own battles unlike them. Jade then says Nyla betrayed her and it's personal between them. And Nyla says that she's just going to put them both down. And then we get the Trios Tag Team match between the Super Click and Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. And this is the first time the Super Click has teamed up in, I think it was 5 years. It's going to be insane. I'm a huge fan of all the guys in this match, every single one of them. So no matter who wins, I'm going to be happy. And the Super Click looks like they are ready to pick up where they left off. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express, on the other hand, look like they're ready to take this team down that's been running rampant on AEW. Cage starts out really strong against Matt, and then Jungle Boy takes on both the Bucks at the same time, sending them outside. Jungle Boy will be world champion in AEW someday. I guarantee it. I just have a feeling about it. The Super Click then baits in the other team to the outside, and that's where they are comfortable. Now the Super Click is back, baby. I'm so happy with this. I mean, there was a few moments where they just looked like they were completely back to form, doing what looks like they've never missed a beat, like they'd been teaming forever. And they hit double teams on I believe it was Jungle Boy, and just move after move after move. It was just nuts until Luchasaurus comes in and he just clears house. He hits he has all three men lined up and he goes for the tail whip kick. The Young Bucks duck. It hits Adam Cole. He then goes back for the spinning heel kick. He hits Matt with it, and then I believe he goes for a Canadian Destroyer on Nick. It was just insane. The big man, he can just do whatever, and it looks like Luchasaurus could win this thing by himself. But, of course, the Super Click has friends, and just after Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus go for Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy has the snare trap locked in, and Doc gets up on the apron to distract him. It was interesting to note, I didn't see Carl, I only saw Doc, which I don't know if maybe I just didn't see him or if Carl just wasn't there. I don't know. It was really weird to only see one of the Good Brothers there instead of both of them. Either way, this causes Jungle Boy to let go of the snare trap, and he then tries to knock Doc off, but he runs away. And the Super Click takes advantage of this, brawling to the stage. They dump Cage out there, and Jungle Boy goes to dive out there, but he's caught with a kick. And Matt turns around into a spear from Cage, and they brawl, and then Matt low blows Cage as Rick Knox is paying attention to Cole and Luchasaurus in the ring. And during this time as well, the Bucks send Cage and Jungle Boy off of the stage. Cage was sent into the actual the framing piece, I guess you would say it. He hit off of something, whereas Jungle Boy kind of just went into the ground. It still looked really brutal. I'm not I wouldn't take a bump like that, I don't think, but it's insane. And then we get back in the ring, and Cole is in control of Luchasaurus. He hits the Panama Sunrise. The Bucks hit the BTE trigger, followed by the boom from Adam Cole for the win. The Super Click defeats Jurassic Express. For my Malteser scale, I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. This match was full of back and forth action and was amazing to see the Super Click back to form. They're some of the best wrestlers in the world on both teams, and they will be a force, the Super Click for sure, if AEW decides to introduce the Trios tag titles, like have been rumored for a while now. We then move on swiftly to a tag team match. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. And the Inner Circle is looking to defend AEW after what Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year have been saying in recent weeks. Jericho looks like he's in full form as he instantly starts to take the Sky and even gives Page the one-finger salute. Jake and Chris then run over Sky, and he looks like this will be over in only a matter of time, as they even take down Page quickly. And the Inner Circle is using each other well. I wouldn't mind seeing Jericho and Hager going for tag titles soon. I believe they have challenged before, but now that they look like they're a little more smooth, I think it would be a better time to. Page then starts to come back and knocks Jericho down, and Lambert slaps Jericho, and this allows the Men of the Year to take control. And they look strong too after starting slowly dominating Jericho in their corner, but Jericho is a very experienced tag team wrestler, and he fights to get the tag to Big Jake Hager, and he comes in and turns things around. The Men of the Year are eventually able to slow the big man, but not for very long. Jericho's tagged in, and he starts to roll against the Men of the Year, and Hager and Jericho have the Men of the Year in submissions, but Dan Lambert distracts Hager, making them let go. Well, and Ethan Page pulled himself out of the ring, and Hager lets go, and then runs back towards, I believe it was Scorpio, and Lambert pulls his leg, letting Scorpio roll up Hager for the win. The Men of the Year defeat the Inner Circle. It was a really solid match, honestly. I mean, for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5, and the reason I say this was solid is because it kind of feels like exactly what we needed to do here. Because if Hager and Jericho just won, then what Dan Lambert and the rest of the Men of the Year kind of, or the rest of the American Top Team have been saying, would make it basically a waste of time. This needs to go more than 1 or 2 matches for it to feel like it's, something worth it. And speaking of the Men of the Year, or speaking of the American Top Team even, Hager takes out the Men of the Year and then goes for Lambert with Jericho. But American Top Team makes their way to the ring, and surrounding the ring, it's pretty much every single UFC guy we've seen before. They start to brawl with Hager and Jericho this time, and Jericho takes a huge beating, ending with Jorge Masvidal hitting Jericho with a big flying knee strike. I'm really excited to see where this goes. This can't be the finish to it, and I feel like this is going to be something special for the future. For the next match, it is an 8-man tag team match. Hardy Family Office versus Proud and Powerful and the Lucha Brothers. This match has the makings to be an absolute barn burner, as on one team you have 2 of the top ranked teams in AEW, and on the other team you have a top ranked team in AEW and the tag team champions themselves. They waste no time at all as all 8 men brawl in the ring, and then the Lucha Brothers and Proud and Powerful send the HFO outside and hit a 4-man dive to the outside, taking out the other team. And then back in the ring, Penta and Ortiz hit a double team, and it's so cool to see the Lucha Brothers and Proud and Powerful working together so well, doing team moves together, and the Butcher and the Blade are eventually able to take control of Matt, or as Matt tries to cut the ponytail of Ortiz. And this causes Orange Cassidy to come out, and he orange punches Jack Evans, and then he leaves. This makes Matt very upset, and he storms off to the back with Jack. And then back to the action. Proud and Powerful double team the Blade with a lot of double team moves. And then Private Party rolls for a little bit, and then Penta comes in to stop it all. And after a little bit of brawling, the Lucha Brothers and Proud and Powerful hit both of their finishers on top of each other on Quinn for the win. The Lucha Brothers and Proud and Powerful defeat the Hardy Family Office. It was an insane match. I mean, for my Malteser scale, I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was really cool to see. I mean, this obviously isn't the main feud that's going on. It's an underlying feud for Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy. But it's still really, really cool to see. And after the match, Matt talks with Tony Schiavone, and he says he has a challenge for Orange. And it's not Matt challenging Orange. It's Matt challenging Orange for Jack Evans in a hair versus hair match. And I'm excited, and it gets confirmed later that I believe it's happening next week. And then Sammy Guevara comes out with the cue cards again, but it's short-lived this time as he and Fuego are laid out by Miro. And Miro tosses Fuego off the stage and locks in game over on Sammy. We then get Andrade talking, and he says he doesn't need help. He says Jose knows to not get involved in his matches, or he will end up like Chavo. Says he will beat Pac, and this time Pac won't have any excuses. We get a singles match between Anna Jay and Penelope Ford, and these two are here to settle a score, it seems like, as Penelope always gets involved in Anna's business. Anna starts out really strong, taking it right to Ford, but the bunny comes out and causes the distraction, letting Ford take control, and then the bunny distracts the ref, tosses Ford the brass knuckles, and that's it. Penelope Ford defeats Anna Jay. For my Malteser scale, I gave this one a 2 out of 5. I mean, it wasn't bad because we're clearly moving the story along to the eventual tag match that we're going to have, but it could have gone a bit longer, in my opinion. And then after the match, Ty Conti comes out to make the save, and she's quickly laid out. And the Hardy family office comes out to stop anyone else from making the save. But that doesn't really work, as Orange Cassidy and the Dark Order come in to clear things out, and they clear the ring. And it seems like the Dark Order is on the same page again. But no, the Dark Order members, Alex Reynolds, 5 and 10, extend their hands to Stu and Uno and Colt, but Colt's kind of more of a middleman on this anyways. But Stu and Uno leave. The interview for the main event ends very quickly as Eddie Kingston gets heated, and it's time for the main event. We then get the lights out match, Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki versus Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. And this match is set to be an absolute brutal brawl, as these two teams hate each other, and they waste no time at it, instantly beating each other and outside of the ring. And Suzuki and Moxley brawl with chairs on the stage, and Kingston grabs a table, sets it up in the corner, and Suzuki ends up kicking Eddie through that table instead. So twist of fate on there. And then turns to Moxley, and Archer tosses the ring boys around the ring, the like guys that kind of help set up the ring as matches are going around, to one side of the ring there, and then tosses Moxley with a choke slam onto the 4 men. And this is going to, there's so much going on in this match that it's really hard to keep up. And Archer eventually grabs a leather strap from under the ring and hangs Moxley over the ropes. And then he tapes his hands together and starts to whip Moxley with the strap. And Minoru and Archer beat on Moxley with whatever they can. And Archer and Suzuki are basically just trying to end Moxley at this point. Moxley tries to fight back. It's really of no use. Eddie does come back for a second. He hits an exploder, but Minoru and Archer quickly take him out and could probably end this whenever they want. And just when Archer and Suzuki go to toss Eddie onto chairs, it's homicide. He makes his way to the ring, and he takes out Archer with the chair, and then frees Moxley, who kind of pretends like he's not been freed. And Minoru goes to hit a Gotch-style pile driver on a chair, and I believe Moxley hits it himself, or hits a paradigm shift on it. And then Kingston puts Archer inside of a trash can and beats his head with the kendo stick inside. He pulls him out and gets the pin for the win. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley defeat Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. It was an absolutely insane match. I doubt we've seen the last of Moxley versus Minoru, as they were still fighting well after the bell. And I don't know what their plan is, but I am so excited to find out. They've had incredible matches thus far, and I can only assume more to come. Overall, for this match, I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. It was a really solid show. I mean, it's not like they were gonna burn the place down every single night. It was a really solid show. Segment of the night, my match of the night goes to the lights out match, very obviously. And the segment of the night is American Top Team laying out the Inner Circle. I thought that was really cool, and it sets up for some more excitement in the future. And then for my performers of the night, it's Jon Moxley and Lance Archer. They both took a massive beating in the main event, and it's just impressive to see. Nothing against Suzuki and Kingston, but Moxley and Archer took the brunt of the beatings that night. But that is all for this episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review. Thank you all for dropping in. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we upload a video. And I'll see you in the next one.